Welcome to Powerful Women Rising, a podcast for female entrepreneurs ready to do business their way. Grab your coffee and join host Melissa Snow, business relationship strategist and founder of the Powerful Women Rising community, as she interviews industry experts and shares insights on strategy, marketing, mindset, and more. Here, you'll find the tools, strategies, and inspiration you need to feel empowered, take bold action in your business, and keep rising.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Powerful Women Rising podcast. This is not just another episode, y'all. This is episode number 100. Woo! Did you cheer in your car? Because I just cheered all alone in my office. So I hope you didn't leave me hanging. Listen, if you have ever thought about having a podcast, if you've ever had a podcast, you know that making it to 100 episodes is no joke. I read a statistic once that most podcast creators quit within the first 7 episodes. And I understand why, man, because it is a lot of work and very little instant gratification. But I have absolutely loved hosting this podcast. I have learned so much. I have gotten the opportunity to connect with some amazing people that I probably never would have met otherwise. Honestly, this podcast has become one of my best networking tools. And I have just loved the people that I have met and that I've gotten to interview, and so much goodness and inspiration and expertise and wisdom on this podcast. I am just so grateful for everyone who has been a guest and everyone who has tuned in to listen. It's the reason that I'm able to keep doing what I do, and super excited to celebrate episode number 100 with you. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how to celebrate episode number 100 because I didn't want to just put out another episode and have it not be a big deal, because 100's a big freaking deal. And then it hit me. Last weekend, we celebrated International Women's Day. The month of March is Women's History Month here in the United States. And what better way to celebrate than with women who are making history? Last year, I launched the first Powerful Women Rising Impact Awards. These awards were given to women in several areas of business based off different criteria. They were nominated by their peers, and then the winners were chosen by a panel of judges. And as the winners, they got to be interviewed on this podcast, and I have not aired their episodes yet. And I knew this was the perfect way to celebrate episode number 100. So episode number 100 is actually going to be 5 parts because there are 5 different interviews with these women. And I hope that you will take the time to listen to each of them, because these women are doing some amazing things in their community, for their clients, in the world, and they are so inspiring and have so much wisdom to share that I can't wait for you to hear from them. So the first person I'm going to introduce you to is Talisa Caldwell. She is the founder of Freedom Creators Co. and the winner of the 2024 Business for Good Award. She founded her business in 2020, at which time she was a single mom looking for a way to provide for her son and to give back to people in need. And after suffering with eczema and allergies for most of her life, she set out on creating pure natural products that were not harmful to the consumer. In November 2023, Talisa visited Born Like Others, a small orphanage in Uganda. And during her 3-week stay with the orphan children, she witnessed firsthand the dire need for financial support. The children at Born Like Others heavily relied on outside donations to meet their basic needs, such as food, clothing, and education. This experience profoundly impacted Talisa, sparking the realization that a partnership between her business and the orphanage could be the solution to their financial challenges. I've been following Talisa for a while. I use her skincare. It is freaking amazing. So if you're looking for non-toxic skincare, less than 7 ingredients, all of which you can pronounce, definitely click the link in the show notes and check her out. But either way, listen to this interview and be inspired, because she is amazing. Hello, Talisa. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to chat with you today. This is the first interview that I've done so far of the women who have won the 2024 Powerful Women Rising Impact Awards. And you are a great person to kick it off, because you really are. Like you're not even Powerful Women Rising. You're like Powerful Woman Risen. Riz. Powerful Woman Riz. There we go.
Yes, we have Riz.
So before we get into the interview, tell everybody a little bit about you and about what you do.
So yes, my name is Talisa, and I am the founder of Freedom Creators Co. And that is a non-toxic skincare company that is based out of Colorado Springs. All of our products are made with 7 natural ingredients or less. But what really helps us to stand out is the fact that not only is the products great for your skin, but they are also really great for the world. So I donate 5% of our revenue towards an orphanage in Uganda, and that helps to provide for their schooling and basic needs, things like that. And so with every purchase, we're able to help support those kids.
I love that. So the award that you won in 2024 was the Business for Good Award. And that was an award that was created to honor a woman who is dedicated to social impact, community advocacy, or charitable work, and is using her business as a force for positive change in her community or on a broader scale. So you were nominated by your peers. You were chosen as the winner by a panel of judges. So congratulations on that. And tell us a little bit about how you got this idea. Like, were you already making the skincare and then you were like, I should do this other thing? Or did it happen the other way around?
So I've been supporting this orphanage since about 2012. So about 12 years, but just kind of like on my own. And then I started my company in 2020. And at that time, I still had kept them separate. I knew that I wanted to give back and do something good for the community. But I was still learning business and had no idea what I was doing. So I started Freedom Creators Co. just out of my home, started making it for like my eczema, my sensitive skin. And it started working out really well for me. And then people were interested in it. So I really wanted to I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I don't really do well working for other or like having to be at a certain time, as an employee. I just
Sitting still.
Always been a hard time for me. Yeah, because I'm always like thinking of different things I could be doing. So I just went full in for my business in 2020. And then in October of 2023, I decided to go out and visit the orphanage myself. I'd never gone in person before. I'd just done like phone calls with the owner, and we became like really, really close over the years. And I talked to the kids over the phone and video calls and things like that, but I'd never seen them. And so I was like, okay, it's time for me to go out. I'm just going to go and do it. And so I went out there by myself. And then I just even more deeply fell in love with the kids there. And I was able to like raise some funding when I was there, just from like donations of friends and stuff like that. And we paid off their school fees. And then I was like, I came back and I knew that I didn't want to just end there. And I was like, okay, well, I have this business. I have this kind of charitable work, this nonprofit that I want to start. Like, why not combine the two into one thing? Thinking off of like, Tom's and like Pacha soaps, big companies who are like B Corps who have done stuff like this. So I was like, okay, this is something that can be done. And then that's when in January of 2024, I was like, let's just kick off this year. And I decided to donate 5% of our revenue towards them instead of just kind of like giving from my own. I was like, no, this is going to be a staple in the company and what we do. And so, yeah, last year, 2024 was the first year of me doing that. And I got to test out and kind of rebrand and just figure things out. And I will say I'm still figuring it out, but the storytelling and the messaging is getting more clear. And
that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about what that money does.
Yeah. So it actually, this year we were able to raise 7,000, a little bit over 7,000. And so this paid off the school fees for over 70 kids.
That's amazing. 70. Yeah. That's so cool.
70. Yeah. And they all range. The youngest one is about 4 years old. And then the oldest ones are 20.
That's really cool. So you mentioned that you've had some struggles, some challenges, some obstacles, some things that you thought were going to work out that didn't. And you're like, okay, now we got to take a different direction. And also that you are still figuring things out, which I think is just the nature of entrepreneurship. I think we're always still figuring things out, even 20 years into it. What keeps you going when things are hard? Like, I'm sure just like the rest of us, you've had moments where you're like, this is a disaster. This is not going to work. What am I doing? How do you keep going during those times?
I'll definitely say that for me, the biggest thing is my relationship with God and praying over situations. And instead of me trying to do it all alone, handing it over to God and being like, okay, like this is your business. You want these kids to have these opportunities. You want this business to grow. You gave me the idea. So, like, help me out. Cause there's definitely been times where I'm like, oh man, I want to quit so bad. And how am I going to, cover this and still pay this? Because I mean, donating a percentage of revenue is like a lot of businesses don't do it, especially at this stage, because it's like, oh, I need that, you know. And so being faithful to still continue to give that has definitely been a challenge. But then it's like every single time that I send a donation, it's like, oh, like I know, like it really does something to my heart and makes me feel fulfilled. So I would say that that's another thing. Like the dedication to the kids have has gotten me to continue the business, because I feel like if I wasn't helping these kids, like I probably would have been like, nah, like it's not worth it, But because these kids and this organization is reliant on our donations in order to help them continue to grow. That's what really is like, okay, there's like literally 70 kids out there who would not be in school were it not for these donations. And that brings like a weightiness to what I do. I think it'd be different if it was just me being like, oh, I want to have a nice car, a nice blah, blah, blah. Like those things don't really, me personally, don't motivate me as much as like giving back and making the world a better place for the future generations does. And yeah, also just a lot of grace with myself and not comparing myself and my journey to others that you see on social media, because like you really don't know their backgrounds and things like that. Like I feel like 2020 there was this huge burst of um, business entrepreneurs, because I think everybody got shut down and then lost their jobs and whatnot and was like, okay, well, like I need to start my own thing. And so that was just kind of like a thing that happened, especially in America. And like with that, you still don't know where people were starting from. You don't know if they had already tried a business or, had multiple businesses before, or have parents who are investing, or have family members who have given them, here's $100,000 for you to play with. Like, you don't like, not everybody shows that aspect of it. For me, this is like a lifelong thing. I'm 29, I'll be 30 this year. So I feel like that's like a good age to be investing in a business, like the average, I think millionaires in like their 40s or 50s, if you're talking those big things. And so, there's still just time and being gentle and patient and not trying to like rush and go and look a certain way. Cause then some of these companies that you see on social media might be like, yeah, we look like we're doing great. And then they're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Like you have absolutely no idea. And so that's been a big thing for me of keeping me going, is like being okay with where I'm at and knowing that even if it might feel like a long process, I would still be grateful if it took me 15 years to have a company that has a firm foundation, is doing what it says it's doing, is profitable, and is giving jobs to people, as well as, helping those around the world. So for me, it's just like however long it takes, you just have to be patient and persevere and yeah, just keep going. So yeah, those are a couple points that help me.
That's great. Yeah. I think staying focused on like the bigger picture, I think it's really easy for us to get caught up in these like little dumb things that don't actually matter. Like how many followers do I have on Instagram, or like how many likes did that post on Threads get? Like I do that all the time anyway. And then I'm like, who actually cares? Like I grew my Threads following from like 220 to like over 1,000 in like 5 days, but only
Wow.
because I started posting pictures of this cat that I got that's like so ugly, he's cute. And so like, is that helping my business? No. Like my entire Threads following is just cat ladies, which is great. I love cat ladies. But that's one of those things that's like I could go all over
Yeah.
and be like, I grew my Threads following 500 times in 5 days. And everybody would be like, wow, she's doing so much better than me. Like, I'm actually not. I just have a lot of
Yeah.
cat ladies. So
I just saw these cat people. Yeah. Yeah. You really don't know. So
yeah, they're called vanity metrics for a reason. They're not
yeah.
called success metrics.
Yes, exactly. Like the community, it matters more than the amount,
Yeah.
it's like the individual. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've touched on some of these things already that I was going to ask you in the last question, which is just what advice would you give to female entrepreneurs in particular if they're just getting started or if they are, kind of struggling to find success? You mentioned a lot of things that I think are really helpful, not comparing yourself to other people, giving yourself grace, keeping that bigger picture and your why and the impact that you're having in mind. Is there anything else that you would add that you haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah. I would also say knowledge and community. Those are huge, huge things that'll be able to keep you going. I think that one of my biggest struggles, and I really didn't figure out exactly what I was doing until like midway through last year when I was like, oh, I know exactly what I need to do on this day and this day and this day. And this is what I need to be doing. And this is how I need to be doing it. It took me, yeah, was like, so that's 4 years to figure out what the heck I'm even supposed to be doing. So
Hmm.
if you can get like a coach or a mentor, I would say that's definitely valuable. Something that I wish I would have done at the beginning. And I know some people are like, I just want to get started right away. And oh, that's an investment. And it's like, okay, but like you can either teach yourself how to do it and it'll take all this time. That was kind of like what I did. Or you can just get the mentor and they'll teach you how to do it. And then also like being involved in a community and networking, especially with small business and just any business in general. It's all about who you know, it's all about connections. It's really hard. Like, you're really not meant to do business alone. Like, it's
Hmm.
just impossible for one person to do it all. And like, people want to hear your story, people want to hear about your business, people want to support you. And a lot of times, it's not necessarily the people in your immediate circle or friends. Like I know like some people get like discouraged by that. But for me, I had to like make a switch and be like, oh wow, strangers want to support me. And like people like I think that's amazing. And also when you go to like networking events, don't just go there, with like, oh, like, what am I going to get out of this? Who am I going to meet that's going to, because people can sense that, like, oh, you're just trying to get something out of me. Go there for like genuine connection. You never know, like, hearing somebody else's story might inspire you. You might meet a social media person that you want to join on your team that has similar passions with you, or you might just enjoy yourself and be able to be around some like-minded individuals so that you don't feel so alone. Because a lot of time maybe we're just sitting in front of our computers or sitting in our offices alone and we're like, oh, like, is there anybody like me who understands this? There are people like you who understand what you're going through, who might have even been doing it for like 12, 15 years. And you're like, wow, like I've only been doing this for 4 years and you're doing this for 15 years. Like, I want to hang out with you. Like, what is keeping you going? And so, and it's easy to be like just on social media with all these unrealistic expectations. But when you go to these events, you meet like real business people, like the reality of being an entrepreneur. And so, yeah, that was something that I kind of put off really until also the midway through last year, where I was like, and this year, my goal is to go to one networking event per month, just because being in your actual community, local wise, is also very important. Because if you're trying to reach all the way out there, the whole world, you got to reach what's around you first. And so
Yeah.
that's been a big, big thing for me is like oh wait, like Colorado Springs doesn't even know about me. Like let me like become known here and then try, to branch out from there. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't pay you to say any of that, but that is all stuff that I would pay someone to say. And that's one of the things that I talk about a lot with networking is that, like, if you have 100 people in your audience, but
Mhm.
now you and I are connected and I have 100 people in my audience, that's now 100 people who are hearing about you who wouldn't have heard about you otherwise, just
Exactly.
because you and I are connected. And you don't have to go have 100 coffee dates with them.
Yep.
And they're all coming to you now as like warm leads because they trust me and they know that I trust you. And it just keeps
Exactly.
working like exponentially over time. So it's like
Exactly.
magic.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, definitely. The people who have become like the most consistent customers are ones who have like either met me face to face personally or met somebody who was like, oh my gosh, you have to try this stuff. And then they're like, oh yeah, like this is awesome, and so just like what you said, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's building trust and things like that. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you're listening to this podcast and not watching the video on the YouTube channel, you have to go watch it on the YouTube channel so you can see what beautiful skin Talisa has,
oh, thank
because
you.
she's
Thank
actually
you.
98. But her skincare line is so amazing. She looks like this.
Wrinkle free, natural Botox.
Even at 98. It's
Even at
amazing.
98, I'm still doing
Well, thank you so much for this interview. This has been really good, really inspiring for, I think, everybody listening. And just thank you so much for all the good that you're doing in the world that I think makes all of us want to be better people. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Melissa. This was an honor. And thank you for the judges who voted for me and whoever nominated me. It's really just an honor to be seen. And that also motivates me to keep going as well. So thank you.
That's a wrap on this week's episode of Powerful Women Rising. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you love the podcast, make sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, write a review, or buy us a coffee. Your support helps more women like you step into their power and grow their businesses in a way that feels real and true to them. Want to keep the party going? Check out the show notes for details on our next virtual speed networking event, or join us in the Powerful Women Rising community. Until next time, remember that building a business your way is the best way.